It's Christmas of the year 2023, and I'm out here scouting. Today is the day before the late archery season opens in Pennsylvania. It's a simultaneous flintlock and archery season. My preferred hunting tools include both the crossbow and the recurve. Depending on my setup, I'll hunt with either one. For example, opening day, I'm only literally about 5 feet above the brush line in a tree stand, and the deer are coming right at me about 7 yards away. I don't feel that I can draw a recurve and get away with it, so I'll be using my crossbow opening day in my best spot. But today I'm out scouting in an area where last year the hunting was dynamite. I mean, it was the best I've ever had. And you can see the type of habitat. This is it, this lowland brushy area. That's all I'm interested in scouting, and that's all I'm interested in hunting. As far as food sources, you're looking at agriculture, especially if you have private land. But on public land, basically these low brushy areas provide both the browse and bedding cover both. That's what I'm focusing on. You may also be lucky to find red oak grove maybe nearby, some good bedding. That also could be good. But basically those are the three that I'm looking at. Actually, specifically, I'm just focusing on this low brushland cover because it's been good to me in the past. But while you're out in the woods, if in these type of areas you can find these wind tools, you simply drop these. See, the wind's going that way. So I brought a plastic bag to pick up a few. I'll keep in my hunting bag to check the wind. I mean, this is the best tool that I know of to check the wind. So behind me, I'll be scouting. There's actually there's a little dip, which is actually behind the tree line, and it's running horizontal here. And it's kind of like a super secretive drainage that, I mean, you have to be right on top of it to see it. And I found it last year, and I told myself I wasn't going to set up any cameras. Well, I hunted here several times in the early archery season, and there was absolutely no deer here whatsoever. So this is literally a late season area. I'm pretty confident that they'll be back now. But I am going to go ahead and set up a trail camera here because I want to see the kind of deer that are left, and I also want to see the exact time of day that they're coming through here. That'll help me a lot in setting up. And also I'll look for a tree where I can ambush them on this little, it's a horizontal, I'm in a mild drainage right now, and then there's one that runs perpendicular like across, and it's hidden. And unless you actually are right there, it's probably a hidden travel corridor for these deer. So I'm going to get a camera up there, scout it out, look for ways to ambush it either from the ground or from a portable tree stand. And I'd like to put a deer or two down on the ground in the late season, certainly. And boy, I sure as heck am not going to be picky. You know, unless it has spots on it, it's going to be shot at. And venison's great. We only have 3 weeks, and then it's over for the year, and then we got to wait another basically 9 months for it to open again. So I love bow hunting. I love hunting with both crossbows and recurves. That's my preferred tool, and I just can't wait to get after them. I'm walking into this hidden little drainage area, and there's some tracks. Something came down this slope here, deer more than likely, and continued. It's a good sign. Here's that little drainage. There's a little dip that's up here, going up this bank, and we'll cut through this brush here. All right, this is it. See, look at that. And we just went through some super dense cover. I mean, whenever you have to stoop down and crawl like a bear through this cover, that's when I start to look for deer sign in this heavily hunted state of Pennsylvania. And this is the little passageway I was telling you earlier about. And you can see this trail, that's made by deer. I do not actually see any fresh sign here right now, but I'll do some detailed analysis. And if there's nothing here, I'll just move on and find out where they actually. All right, I decided to walk along this little trail here, this hidden trail, and immediately I did find some fresh tracks. So this was being used by one specific deer within the last, I'd say, 24 to 48 hours, and it's a start. Continuing on this hidden trail here, I came to my first trail junction. So the trail goes like this, as you can see, and here's our first perpendicular trail junction right here, and there's tracks on it. So I'll just note this. So far this is the best spot, but I do hope to find some spots that are just loaded with more sign. The curiosity has gotten the best of me. I found this perpendicular trail crossing, and there's a couple fresh deer, and this is the crossing right here. I'm gonna go ahead and set up a camera because I'm just curious to see when they're coming through here, what kind of deer they are. The tracks are pretty decent size, so I'm thinking a mature doe or possibly a yearling or 2.5-year-old buck. I have probably walked about 100 yards from where I set up my first trail camera and haven't seen much sign, but what I just stumbled into some right here. I'm following a drainage system, and there's grass down here. See, that provides a late season food source so that they can eat inside cover and never be seen. I mean, this is a no-brainer as far as catching deer in daylight activity. But there's some pretty good sized tracks here going in here, and it's a little bit of a Y because here's a second trail here crossing this little, see this drainage there? Look at the tracks down there. Holy smokes, look at those. Now these look like they're coming out of here, which will be great for an evening hunt. Looks like looks like they're coming out of this thicket. So based on let me see if I can get them on the camera any better. You see, yeah, those two tracks there. It looks like they're coming in here for both water, obviously, and the green grass. And this is the kind of spot that could very well produce in the late season. So unless you're hunting a spot like this, you probably won't see any deer. So I'll figure out a place. I'll walk up this little trail. That's the deer trail right there. Find a good spot for a trail camera to monitor this area, but also find how the heck I'm going to hunt it, because that's the trickiest part of figuring out how you're going to ambush these deer in these super thick areas. But any deer that wants to survive the firearm season, this is the kind of spot that they'll end up in, and they're still in here now. So I'll examine this, find the best spots for a trail camera and an ambush spot. I might wait till they get way down in here. I do see, yeah, there's a trail, there's a tree right there. There's enough trees around here. I might be able to get a super close range shot. We'll see. I definitely need to have a strategic location such as this before I get my gear out, because it is no fun hauling that stuff around. Presently, I'm using the Novix Echo tree stand, which has got to be the most comfortable stand ever made. Trust me, if you're looking for comfort, it's a deal. It does weigh 11 pounds, and then my sticks are just under 9 pounds, so I'm looking at 20 pounds every time I take my mobile setup into the woods. I think in the future I'm going to look to drop the weight of my tree stand and get a lighter weight version, but I'm saving up for one of those babies because that's when the prices go way up. but we'll see what I can do here for the next 25 or 24 and 25 season coming up. Hopefully this spot will produce a nice healthy doe or perhaps a late season buck.